You don't owe these people anymore. You've given them everything.
Not everything. Not yet.
Gotham's Caped Crusader faces a new enemy, confronts his inner demons, and settles old forgotten scores in the long-awaited movie event of the summer, The Dark Knight Rises. I'm Bryce Balkin, and today we're coming to you from the Living Room Theaters, and I'm joined by 5 other film colleagues to discuss the third and final chapter to Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy.
My name's Van Eric Prevelis, and I'm just a normal film guy. I make videos, make films myself, and I also hold a position at Living Room Theaters.
Hi, I'm Dylan Bauscher. I'm the managing editor of FAU's University Press. I edited our review on The Dark Knight Rises, so I'm here to talk about it today.
I'm Lorenzo Ponceleon. I'm a double major here at FAU in communications and Spanish, and I'm also a director. Just got back from doing a feature-length film, so I'm here to talk about The Dark Knight and experiences on filmmaking in general.
My name is Evan Sullivan, and I like movies.
Hi, my name is Fayez Klub, film critic at the University Press, and I'd like to talk about my review of The Dark Knight Rises.
Okay, and along with our discussion to the film, we'll each give our own personal choices for our favorite Batman film and our favorite Chris Nolan film, and then we'll ask other students around campus what they thought about it as well. The Dark Knight Rises takes place 8 years after the events of the last film. Batman is no more, since he was basically forced into exile after taking the fall for Harvey Dent's murder. And in the opening scenes, we see Christian Bale as a more vulnerable, emotionally tortured Bruce Wayne. Gotham City has remained a beacon of hope and peace, and to the people, Dent is a hero. But also living the lie is an older, wary Commissioner Gordon, played by Gary Oldman. A rookie cop, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, still has some questions.
The last confirmed sighting of the Batman. He murders those people, takes down 2 SWAT teams, breaks Dent's neck, and then just vanishes.
I'm not hearing a question, son.
Don't you want to know who he was?
I know exactly who he was. He was the Batman.
We're introduced to some new characters, including sneaky Catwoman burglar Selina Kyle, played by Anne Hathaway.
I think maybe you're assuming a little too much.
Maybe you're being unrealistic about what's really in your pants other than your wallet.
Ouch.
You think all this can last? There's a storm coming, Mr. Wayne.
And a masked terrorist named Bane, played by Tom Hardy, who has come to destroy Gotham City and carry out total anarchy.
Mr. Wayne.
Michael Caine gives some of the dramatic scenes real weight as the trusty butler Alfred, and if you listen to his dialogue, it doesn't sound as encouraging as it used to be.
You are as precious to me as you were to your own mother and father. I swore to them that I would protect you, and I haven't.
And Morgan Freeman returns as science whiz Lucius Fox, who tempts Bruce with some really neat toys.
Defense Department projects, tight geometry, urban pacification. Rotors are configured to maneuver between buildings without recirculation. What's it called? Took to calling it the Bat. And yes, Mr. Wayne, it does come in black.
The Dark Knight Rises tries to cover a lot of ground with new characters and some shaky storylines, including Bruce's plunge into a prison that feels like it belongs in a different movie. I also found the showdown in the last third a little too long. It's an ambitious film, but it's also a busy one, running at nearly 3 hours. And even though I don't think it's quite the film The Dark Knight was, this is still an entertaining comic book movie with high energy, intriguing socio-political issues, powerful imagery, and a sensational aerial attack opening sequence that would feel right at home in a James Bond film. Eric, what did you think of this movie?
I really enjoyed the film. To me, what really made the movie was the performances, of course. Tom Hardy just owned that role completely. The body language, the eyes are what he had to focus on. His inflection and everything was just so haunting. Like every time you hear him speak, you just want to just keep listening. Anne Hathaway, every time her and Christian Bale, Bruce Wayne and Batman were on screen, it was hilarious. They had the best chemistry in my opinion. Of course, there was a few parts that felt a little rushed, mostly the last like 10 minutes to me with the whole bomb thing. I think it was really up there with The Dark Knight itself.
Picking up where Eric left off, I'll talk a little bit about Anne Hathaway's performance. I thought their chemistry was good. I know a lot of fans were initially skeptical about it. They didn't think she was a good fit for the role. But I think they pulled it off well. I thought that was one of the more well-developed subplots. I do think that the prison scene was crucial. not unnecessary, just because it really emphasized the theme of the movie, which was redemption and the rise. And I agree. I think the pacing toward the end just was too much. It seemed like Nolan was trying to catch up with his own plot just to tie up all the loose ends. Wasn't very realistic. And then I think all suspension of disbelief went away when the bomb went off at the end. I couldn't buy into that at all. Overall, though, it was a decent movie.
I think I'm probably going to be the only one who might have somewhat of a negative opinion. I actually thought it was okay. It was not bad. It wasn't bad at all. I honestly thought that Nolan was trying to outdo The Dark Knight. The first one was, really nice setup for what was about to happen. The second one was just really, it just outdid the first in almost every way, I thought. And then the third one I thought was just, this is time to close the book, It was a very political movie overall. Definitely Bane's performance made the movie more political, more relevant. It was well put together from a whole directorial standpoint, but in my opinion, it wasn't the best out of the three.
I went to go see it in IMAX in the 70mm format. It gives it a lot more emphasis on how epic the film is. This is a film that is supposed to be the accumulation of all of Batman's hardships, Gotham's downfalls and uprisings throughout the entire films. And I believe because the fact that, one, it was filmed in IMAX, and two, Bane's character brings this almost French Revolution-like feeling to the setting, that this film was really supposed to be all about war. But it does have the feeling of something that people have been wanting to have, and I think Christopher Nolan really brought that to the screen.
In my opinion, I'm more in the middle ground when it comes to the movie. I think as an action movie, as a superhero movie, it does a great job, and a lot of its drama is really great, too. With Michael Caine as Alfred, he does a really great emotional performance, and I just love Catwoman in this movie. But the thing with Bane is that overall his motive seems kind of weak. He just wants to blow up Gotham. A bit bombastic. It didn't seem like it was on par with high intensity and drama of The Dark Knight.
What do you guys think about the political allegory that people are saying? It's sort of a strange coincidence that this happens to be coming out around the time of the Occupy Wall Street events. Does it make it all the more socially, politically relevant that it sort of is like a commentary for today's headlines?
I didn't realize that a lot of it just had a sort of parallel to the present. The scene where they're all in the stock exchange, and it kind of reminded us of the Occupy Wall Street and that whole thing. So it was kind of unintentional, but that did happen. Also, one of the things, Bane in the comics was actually a lot more muscular, especially when he broke Batman's back. It's like you figure a guy who looks that big, maybe should look a little bit. I mean, I don't care if he was on steroids or something like that. It didn't really bother me. I mean, Bane's performance was still unbelievably good.
Yeah, but I think it makes it more grounded in reality. I mean, because we're not dealing with cartoonish Batman anymore.
It would have been difficult to do that in effect because the reason Bane's big is because of the Venom. So he would have had to incorporate that. The political motive was, I think it was coincidence as far as what's happening around now. It's just that the way Nolan structured it is anything like the villains say or do was based around a realistic aspect of how someone would basically tear down a government.
Adding to what you said, I think you did make a great point about how Nolan showed what a villain should do to bring about a societal collapse, and that was Bane's ultimate goal. You've got that plane scene, which evokes a lot of 9/11, post 9/11 feelings, especially in America. And furthermore, the first thing Bane does to bring down Gotham City is he goes right to the stock exchange. And I thought that Nolan was doing that very intentionally. He knew what he was doing. He did make a great point with that economics pretty much runs everything else about society.
To tie in with how the whole aspect of, I guess you could consider it the 1% against the 99%, keeping with the social context of what's going on in the real world today. Bruce Wayne's character, I don't think, was really supposed to represent as far as what the rich are concerned, but it's supposed to represent what the rich can be. The whole fact that Batman's fighting for and protecting the innocent and the lower will-to-do than he is, that it shows that not everybody is going to be as pompous. And Bane really, he attacked the stock market, he blew up the football stadium, he did all these things to provoke people to really come out and take their city, it didn't work for him. Because in the end, what they need is the Cape Crusader to really show that vengeance can be for anybody.
What I find fascinating about the sort of socio-political aspects is mostly what Bane enacts when he takes over Gotham, as if to sort of mirror like government intervention with like international sort of areas. And then there's letting all the prisoners go, incriminating the police force, being sentenced to go away by the kangaroo courts. And it seems sort of like it almost extenuates the sort of reality. What could happen if like we go to the extreme side of like abolishing the police force? It adds sort of an interesting dynamic to it almost.
Batman's basically the 100%. He's everything. He has the money that the 1% has. He has the capability to everything, but then he sympathizes with the 99% and forces himself to actually, do something about it.
We're talking about all of these Marxist themes, and I'm thinking how refreshing it is, a comic book movie with ideas, and this is what Chris Nolan continues to do. How refreshing. We're talking about stocks and corporations and current events in a way. When was the last time a superhero movie made you think about CNN? Okay, when we come back, we're going to touch on the themes of Christopher Nolan's movies and the mind games he leaves behind.